Canoopsy here, and this is the BlackBerry KEYone. It's more than just BlackBerry's revival, it is a seriously good Android phone. I'm all suited up, and it's time for my review of this device. The BlackBerry KEYone's design is incredibly impressive with so much thought put into it. The phone is mainly made of aluminum with a soft, grippy material on the back, and the bottom half of the phone is curved while the top half is flat and angular. Now, I'm not sure if it's just me that noticed this, but the bottom half of this phone has a really nice weight to it compared to the much lighter top half, which also adds to a great in-hand feel and a really nice overall weight. But one big negative here is the lack of any sort of water resistance on this device, which I definitely did miss, but you do have a micro SD card tray here. Now, it wouldn't be a proper classic BlackBerry phone if it didn't have a physical keyboard, and the KEYone has one. It's my first time really extensively using a physical keyboard on a phone, and I'm actually, put simply, quite impressed. The backlit keys provide an excellent, enjoyable tactile response, and if you learn to use the keys properly, you can actually get a lot done. And if you're a first-time physical keyboard phone user like myself, you can easily learn to use this. I'm not perfectly fluent yet by any means, but there are a range of great features on this keyboard that I've really come to enjoy. First, the keyboard spacebar is the incredibly fast fingerprint scanner, which is a genius placement. Next, you can actually swipe across the keys to scroll through the software like a trackpad, but I wish there was a bit more surface area, that was a bit more sensitive, and that it was a bit more usable. I want to be able to not have to touch the screen at all, and for the most part it is possible, but not entirely. Next, swiping up when typing places the predictive text word into place as well, so essentially you can actually type very quickly. Another big thing here are shortcuts. You can press or long press any of the keys on the keyboard while on the home screen to launch any application or launch one of the many shortcuts. So while the keyboard may be a bit of a shock at first for first-time BlackBerry users, it is a really unique and amazing part of this phone that can boost productivity and typing speed if you just spend some quality time using it. While I do really like the keys, I'm not really a fan of the capacitive navigation button placement right on top. When doing swipe gestures or even just holding the phone in some cases, I often accidentally hit these keys and I just wish they were on screen. But besides that, the rest of this phone's design is pretty great. There's USB-C on the bottom next to an all-right single speaker. The ear speaker both looks good and is great for calls, and this phone is definitely comfortable to hold during calls too. The top does have a headphone jack, take that Apple, and the buttons on the side do feel alright but not the best in terms of tactility. But what's unique here is the custom programmable button on the right side. You can set it to pretty much anything, and I have it set to the camera, but one negative here is that it only works when your phone is unlocked, which can be kind of annoying, but I do see the whole security aspect here as well. Okay, so overall the design here is great, both in terms of hand feel and how it looks. Now, the LCD display is 4.5 inches at a resolution of 1080 by 1620, and it is really good. Colors are nice and vibrant, the sharpness is actually pretty acceptable, and while contrast is an AMOLED level, it is alright. Technically, when typing, you do have more on-screen viewing space, which is definitely really cool, but reaching the top of the screen can definitely be a bit of a struggle. Under the hood, you're looking at a mid-range processor, and that is the Snapdragon 625 coupled with 3GB of RAM. The performance here is definitely good, but won't be as fast as something like the Galaxy S8 with a full flagship processor, but that being said, it's still an incredibly fast phone that you won't think is really slow at all. But one major positive of using the 625 in this phone is the extremely good battery life. This phone has a 3505 mAh battery, and the usage time on this phone is great. I started using it at 9 AM one morning on a workday at 100%, and by the end of the workday, I had about 35% left. And with that remaining battery life, I managed to make it through the morning of the next day till the early afternoon when I just stopped to charge it. Now, this usage will of course vary per user, so you may get more battery life or less battery life, but I can guarantee you at least get a full day of usage, no problem. Now, speaking of charging, this phone has Quick Charge 3.0, and there's also an option for a boost mode that kills major power functions on this phone to give you quicker charging. And also when charging, there's this really sick progress bar going up the side of the phone, and I love this more than you can possibly imagine. Now it's time for the software, and here it is Android 7.1 Nougat. The KEYone's software really impressed me when I first started using it, as it's very close to stock Android, but has really nice, tasteful additions. Okay, so first, the BlackBerry stuff. Blackberry Hub is here, and if you're unfamiliar with the Hub, it culminates all notifications from select applications into one inbox. This way, you don't have to go into each inbox to mark them as read, to view them, or to reply to them. So for example, I have my Twitter notifications, my emails, my texts, my Instagram messages, all in one convenient place, and a whole lot more too. You can also compose tweets, emails, or messages all in this inbox too, and it's been a pretty big change for me, but I can see why BlackBerry users definitely do love this functionality. And next is Detect, which is a security monitoring application. It tells you if your device is secure and gives you tips to make it even more secure if it isn't secure. It seems good for daily users as it is very simple looking and easy to use, and I can also see it being used in enterprise for a variety of things as well. And that's really it for major BlackBerry features on this phone. There's some small touches here and there, like swiping up on some applications for a brief preview, a different looking multitasking setup which is both kinda good and kinda bad at the exact same time, and some special BlackBerry widgets. But overall, I'm glad that BlackBerry went for a very stock overall experience on this phone, and the additions are definitely very good. And now for the cameras, the most surprising part about this phone. The front-facing camera is 8 megapixels for some just satisfactory selfies, while the back 12 megapixel camera is what really surprised me. It can capture some seriously awesome photos with great vibrancy, contrast, and sharpness with an impressive depth of field. Video at 4K is nice too, but stabilization is just not great. Okay, so in summary, I like this phone a lot. The design is truly incredible, and for those BlackBerry fans who are disappointed by the Priv's overall build quality, this is extremely well built. The physical keyboard is great, both because of its tactility and the amount of features packed into it, but no water resistance kind of sucks though, and I definitely did miss that overall assurance that my phone would be safe in the rain, for example. The display does the job well and is quite bright. Specifications are mid-range, but that doesn't really limit the overall daily usage of this phone. Battery life here is superb, and expect at least an entire day of usage or more. And the software is clean, and BlackBerry's subtle additions are useful and don't really invade the experience. And what came as a really big surprise to me was just how good the camera is for both photos and videos, except for that kind of janky stabilization. So, should you buy this phone? I think you should at least consider it. It's a great overall device, it's very fun to use, it's very different to use, but the experience is great overall. You're gonna love this phone for that price. It's a great overall device. That all just somehow rhymed all of a sudden. But that's pretty much it for this video. Like it if you liked it, comment down below your thoughts on the BlackBerry KEYone, subscribe, hit that taco bell, and thank you for watching.